Hello twin flames, welcome to my channel, whether you're new or you're coming back. I welcome you today to St. Patrick's Day. My background has already been green, coincidentally, it works perfectly for St. Patty's. And I put on a little bit of green, got my lucky charm that I brought from Ireland actually in 2016, so it's been a minute, but I'm also made a commitment today that I'm gonna go do a retreat to Ireland in June this year. It's gonna be great. I'm going with an amazing person. And yeah, actually, if anybody wants to join, I'll share the link to this event specifically in the comments. I'll pin it in the comments so you guys can check it out. And she's got a few other events. Maybe you'll be interested in that as well. But yeah, if you're looking to connect with me in person, I'll be there. Alright, so today I want to do a special spread for St. Patrick's Day. It's the lucky spread, or Wheel of Fortune spread. So we won't be looking at feminine versus masculine. It will be more of going through seasons, because this is also pretty much the end of the zodiacal year. We'll have Aries season start Wednesday or Thursday this week, I forgot. But essentially we're at the very end of that zodiacal year. So we have spring equinox on Wednesday, Thursday. You know, it's such a powerful time, powerful milestone, and kind of like going over the hill to the next phase. So I feel like that spread is going to be really helpful and just a little more fun to do something different for a change. And then tomorrow, most likely, I'll do the spring equinox reading. So you get more guidance on what's coming up with this equinox that is going to be happening. So we'll start with an oracle card, and guess which deck I picked? Of course, it's the Angels and Ancestors deck. So, and we'll get a card for the feminines and then for the masculines, and then from there I'll proceed with a general spread. So it's not going to be based on masculine, feminine anymore. It's just going to be general for the viewer, whoever you are. Not to mention that a lot of times we're very synchronous in what we do, where we are. Yes, the context, like on the surface, may look different, but essentially the lessons we're learning, the topics we're discovering are the same. And that makes total sense if you think about twins having the same higher self, the same soul, right? So there's no surprise in that. And that's why we're such perfect mirrors for each other. All right, let's see what we have for Divine Feminines watching. I'm just gonna do this. Lord, take charge with authority. Oh my God, I mean, seriously. I've been having this energy for the feminines like all this week. And the last ancestor message, I don't remember whether it was this card, but it was something, if not this one, it was something very similar. I'm not even going to read the book. I mean, this is the Emperor energy in this deck. The Lord, well, actually, I will read the extended message. Let me do that. Lord is asking you to courageously step forward, to embrace your power. Sometimes you have to take control in order to be honored. If you feel that your kindness or gifts are being taken for granted, it's time to change that. There is no excuse for bad behavior, and the ancestors are encouraging you to hold your ground and speak your mind in a fiercely loving way. Think about it for a moment. Fiercely loving way. You have the energy and might to overcome dramas or energies that aren't working for your growth. And it's time to take charge before you find yourself in a situation you don't want to be in. You're being encouraged to be the boss instead of being bossed. This card also brings the energy of ambition and can show you have the potential to move upwards on a professional level, but only if you act with authority and show who you really are. All right, that was for the feminines. Let's see what we have for the masculines. Okay. Warrior, be fearless and stand strong. That's, if somebody was doubting the synchronicity piece I was talking about, this is for you guys, right? Right. Let's read the message. It will be a little bit different, but if you're experiencing fear at this time, know that this means whatever is going on is important to you. Whenever you feel fear, you're on the verge of something big. perhaps a massive breakthrough that is going to really help you move forward. If you have a situation on your hands where you have to face someone or something that's been unsettling you, know that you're being guided to call up your inner warrior. Don't falter and don't be frightened, because you have the energy to protect yourself now and at all times. I like this message about being the protector for self. And I guess for the masculines, it's a little bit more straightforward than it would be for the feminines. But it's really important to feel like you don't really need any external support, anyone else's help to feel safe, to be able to go for what you feel is right. And yeah, I know there's a lot going on in society about that these days, which of course is the energy of time, if you will, right? If you know a little bit more about where we are with astrology and big transits, the last couple of years have been pretty big in that sense, so I'm not surprised. Okay, let's see what we have with the Wheel of Fortune spread. I'll take the first card, Queen of Cups. I love it. So that will be our number one, number two, oof, 4 wands. And then we'll go with the 4 seasons, Queen of Wands, Page of Wands, 2 of Swords, and Ace of Pentacles. All right, bottom of the deck, 7 of Wands. It's a very interesting 7 of Wands, because I feel like this person is not necessarily hiding themselves, but they're sending the message, right? It's like, remember we write about the fiercely loving way. It's like that to me, right? Like, I love you, but I'm gonna love you from over here. I'm not really escaping. I'm not running away, but I'm keeping my distance because I feel that it's right now. And I feel like it's a very powerful message, because this is for us not to feel guilt and shame if we're not running at first, ask or demand from someone to help them out, right? It's also, it's kind of given more of a vibe of like, you know, there are times when I need to take care of myself and I need to protect myself too, right? And if I can't help you from over here where I feel safe, because I need to feel safe before I can help somebody else, especially as light workers, even more so. If that's gonna be good enough for you, then great. If that's not good enough, then I'm sorry. That's the best I can do right now. The second level of this situation is, of course, a recoil, like how honest are you with yourself when you're saying, this is all I can do. Yep. I've seen people who I've been talking to who have been like, oh yeah, this is like all I can do for you. And it's not great for you to like be wanting more or expecting more, because this is realistically what all I can do. But the person in their turn are expecting a lot from me. So it's like, well, I'm sorry, like there's such a big disbalance now in where we are. So I'm supposed to be like on the way to like on the ready 24/7 for whatever you need from me, and that's the norm, that's acceptable. But when I'm looking for something even like simple in terms of, I don't know, moral support, right, like being there for me, like no, I'm not doing great, I cannot give it to you. And that's like another aspect of it is like it's going on for a long time. I mean, there are of course periods when we are in crisis and like we take all this energy in to take care of ourselves, and we even need more support from others, right? There is nothing we can give literally. But if it's going on for months and years, I'm sorry, it's just bullshit. So this is like taking a very good look at where your boundaries are, where you've been overprotective, not to get yourself hurt, but maybe you've been avoiding a lot of great experiences in your life. But also where maybe you've given out too much of your energy, right? And it's time to kind of, the fact that you are gonna stop doing that in the same way doesn't mean that you don't care about those people anymore. It doesn't mean that you don't have that love for them. But it means that you're being sensible and caring and loving to self, right? To understand that this is the healthy variation, right? This is the balanced way. It's very important to keep assessing it, to make sure, because it also can change with time, right? So to come back to it, so it's not just automatic. That's where usually the problems lie. Anyways, I'm glad that I only have 6 cards here because it's turned into a big one. But somebody needed to hear that, so bear with me. So anyways, we have the first card that signifies you, the viewer. And in this case, it's Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups without a head, but with the moon kind of sticking out where the head is supposed to be. Like the moon is literally her head in this case. Think about it for a moment. This Queen of Cups is in a space where they're very much in touch with their inner feelings and emotions. Which is great because it helps see things what they really are. Like, what does this mean for me? How does it make me feel? It's the most important criteria for anything and everything that we experience. Even if it's a reflection of you needing to heal something, right? Like, that's still your criteria, right? Okay, it's making me feel anxious. It's triggering me. All right, so I can go deeper and see what's that about, and I can work on that, right? But being super honest about it's really important. There's no judgment here. There shouldn't be any judgment, at least coming from you, about you, right? You should be able to have that honest conversation with yourself. Like, yeah, maybe it's ridiculous to other people, but yes, this is making me anxious, or I'm really jealous in this situation, right? Acknowledge that. Sit with it for a minute, live through it. And start asking yourself questions. Where is that from? Why is that so important, right? And that could be around the good stuff as well. Like, this is super exciting. And you can also go in and deeper and ask yourself, why? Why does this simple thing make me so happy? What is it about it? And maybe there are more things that would make me so happy that I can do that are simple. Don't need a lot of resources, a lot of investment for me. But don't get into the shadow mode where you'll be living on the emotional level 24/7. That's not super healthy either. Mostly because our emotions tend to go quite extreme, and that's the survival instincts that we have as a human. But if we just give into everything immediately and become reactive to everything around us, it's not going to set us for success. Not for our own space, and definitely not for relationships with other people. And mind that we have Mercury retrograde starting at the very beginning of April. So essentially we have another 10 days, and we are kind of entering the shadow mode of the retrograde too. So it may go haywire much quicker than you would think. So yeah, very important to stay in tune. Use it well. Use it for good. It's the power you should be using for good. The environment, 4 Wands. Yes, for twin flames, this definitely has a special meaning. And I would say what I'm getting here, it's more than anything else. This is the union with self, the union between the inner masculine and feminine. And this is such a great card to see here for me, right? Especially as we are turning the leaf over through this milestone, right? Like, you can see it as almost like a summary, right? It's like the exam time, and now we're seeing where are we after all the education we've gotten. And it's great to see this. I also love like this nature, these trees is like, we are different, but we are still so similar in many ways, right? And not being afraid. Like, I'm getting immediately so many different topics here. It will take us a while to go over the list. But what's important is that this is the environment that you're creating for you. It's the frequency of union. And that's how you end up attracting either a twin or little asterisk here. If they're not ready in the 3D reality, if they're not there yet, then you attract a soulmate who is ready. And of course, the choice is still yours, whether you're gonna go for it or not. But that's how you naturally manifest the right person, the right people, really, the right business opportunities, the right everything. And that's when that trust keeps building with your higher power, with the universe, that reaching success, being happy, having abundance in your life shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be a lot of sacrifice and exhaustion, right? It just should be in alignment, that's all. I love it. Okay, going with the times of year, because the year begins with winter, we're starting with winter, and you have the Queen of Wands here. It's very interesting because winter is usually cold and calm, right? Like that's and the card placement here is supposed to tell us what's kind of being frozen, what's on hold, and maybe needs your attention to revisit. The Queen of Wands is a very fiery and passionate energy, right? It's like, but in this deck, it's more romanticized, I would say, right? It's like most Sagittarius energy was like looking up the sky and wanting to be ambitious, dream big, and go for it, right? That's what I'm getting here. So remember your ambition, remember where you are with it. Have you put it on the shelf? Have you decided for some reason that it's just not the time? This is the time for you to take a look, revisit, make your plan. Maybe it's still not the time, but make the time. Decide for yourself, when is the time? What is the next checkpoint? Make sure that it doesn't end up just somewhere in the trash just because you never found the time, and now like the longer you wait, the less faith you have that it's gonna happen. Like, no, nuh-uh. Spring, you have Page of Wands. So spring is a time of growth and expansion and development and flourishing and creation, fertility, all of those things. And I like the page here because the page is that energy of wanting to learn, wanting to grow, right? Like it's like that catalyst, it's like that spark, especially with the Wands energy here, that you need to go, like to jumpstart yourself with whatever it is you're doing. So what is the new thing that you're learning in this cycle, right? And you can take it from right now, right? From today. What are you starting anew? Next week, next month, next year? And I don't mean 2025, I mean like this next year that starts in a few days, the zodiacal new year. That's what we're talking about. Like, what is the spark? Probably connected to that ambition you had, but this is more specific, right? This is like, okay, I've already built a roadmap, and now I want to take first steps. What do I want to bring more into my life? How do I want to grow? Like, this is very much connected to when you're doing a vision board or even a roadmap in a more corporate world, right? That you have your goals, you also have your intermediate goals, right? And you kind of play it back from there. Like, how do I get, like, maybe it'll take me 20 steps, it'll take me on 100 steps, right? But where do I start? What is step number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5? And that's the Page of Wands energy for you. Start building specific steps. Summer, we have Two of Swords. So summer is the energy of blossoming, blooming, and being at your peak. So remember that when you're at your peak in whatever it is you've been working hard for, you still have hard choices to make. You'll always have them around you because that growth never stops, learning never stops. You overcome and you heal certain patterns that you had before, you'll face something else. So don't get lazy, don't get too comfortable, right? Like, this going next level means that, of course, you'll be given even more to deal with, right? It means you're ready for something bigger and better, right? And of course, it means that you're ready for that level of success that's gonna come in next, right? So it doesn't hurt to check yourself when you've reached your goal, when you've accomplished what you want. Maybe there is something like that right now that you're saying, you know, I worked very hard for. I don't know. Maybe in America, a lot of companies do their annual performance evaluation during this time. And then you're like, I worked really hard and I finally got my promotion that I was looking to, right? Now think like you've been given this extra power. What are you doing with it, right? But don't get too hung up on, like, don't overthink. But know that there is something there, like you, especially as a twin, we're given that power to bring more, to do more, like, so we can share more of ourselves, of our light, of what we do, and so that we can learn more. So try to see how that opens up new possibilities for you. and acknowledge and be grateful for reaching this milestone, for reaching this goal. Last but not least, fall, and you have the Ace of Pentacles. Fall is when things are living your life or going away. So it's like, what are the opportunities that were dangling in front of you and you didn't take them, right? Maybe they were like you saw a little bit of like a devil's eye there. It's like, this is a test, I get it. Or you decided to hold on and wait for something bigger and better, right? Like the important part here is not to have regrets, not to have guilt and shame about anything and everything that didn't pan out. And this can be business opportunity. It might as well be something in your personal space, right? Something solid. Like maybe you had a chance to move and to reunite with your loved ones and be together, and you didn't take it, and now it's a lot more complicated and it's just not in the cards for a while at least. And you're like, oh my God, like I had my chance and I blew it. This is the card that's reminding you that A, everything happens for a reason. B, maybe that was part of the lesson on its own and you made the right choice, but not by not accepting it. And C, just keep asking those questions and keep setting intention. If there is something that you truly want and you still want it, right? Like a lot of times something doesn't pan out, the time passes and you're like, I'm actually glad it didn't work out because I wouldn't want to be in that space right now. But if the time has passed and you're still strongly set on that idea that it's important and you want it to happen, then see it from a place of where you are right now. The resources, the mindset, your ideas, where you are emotionally, what kind of team of people you have around you, and how you can build on that, how you can set that intention. And eclipse actually is going to be pretty, both the equinox and the eclipse are going to be very powerful for that. So this is your time to be grateful that that opportunity happened in your life and build on that. Okay, I hope this was useful for you guys. I love you all, and I'll be back with more readings very, very soon. Bye.